Welcome to the podcast. Today we're talking about our building project. We are really good ahead with it, and we have some news to give. So welcome Eric Christoph and Frank van der Heijden.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Beautiful to have you with you today here, and let's have a chat about it. Of course, Peter is here as well.
Hello.
And let's see what the updates are.
Okay, well, yes, our building project is underway now for a couple of weeks already, and they've been very busy demolishing things like the playground, all the exterior walkway roofing. Then we also have all the concrete that was there and the pavers. That whole area has been cleared and is down to dirt level now. Also the vestry and the kitchen has been removed, so we have quite a large open space, and it's definitely looking like a building site now. And also we've had the windows taken out of the toilet block because that's all getting replaced as well. So yeah, it's all looking very different out there, and they've been busy installing cabling, which probably Eric can talk a little bit more about.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Yes, we've had a number of pieces of the build already built now. The electrical connections to the church, the new connections, they're now completely installed down to a metre underground. So that was a really deep dig. We've also had a number of the water retention and rainwater harvesting and stormwater civil works completed, which congregation members have seen the 300mm diameter pipes that have been on our site. It's quite impressive. We're going to retain some water. So it's a stormwater retention system that's a council requirement and a South East Melbourne water requirement that we are able to cater for a 1 in 100 year rain event. So when we think about being prepared for the new millennium, this is what it means. So quite a lot of work's underway, and as Frank said, it really does look like a building site. It's we've got fences up, we've got ditches in the ground, quite a lot of work.
Other piping and other cables, and as far as I know, we changed them all to like water and...
Yes, that's right. So all of the water lines into the property are now changed. All of the sewage lines going out of the property are changed. Congregation members will have seen there's some digging at the fence at the front of the property, and some new risers to help understand where they all are. So that's all been renewed. So as Frank and I are well aware, we're really looking forward to not digging up any stormwater drains anymore, because they're all going to be replaced.
Yeah, we had to do that last couple of years quite regularly.
That's good news.
Yes.
So what's coming up next is the question. So after the civil works, that's all inside underground. The next stage is getting ready to do concreting and formwork. So that's building the sides for the slab that we're going to be building, joining the church to the toilet block to the hall. So that's the next stage of the work, and there's some preparation that needs to be done for that. We've got a meeting tomorrow, our regular project meeting, with the builder and our architect and our site manager, and we're also going to be meeting with the structural engineer for the project, who is from the company called Cundall's, and we're going to be looking at all of our cracks and all of our foundation questions. So that's all tomorrow morning. Very exciting.
Is this a big question when there are some cracks somewhere, or could that mean something?
Yes, it could mean something, Tim, so we won't shy away from it, but the real question is, what is it? And then once we know what it is, then we'll have some discussion, and we'll agree what we do about it, because we need to do some work with it. So
Because with this build at this point in time, it gives us the perfect opportunity to look at the existing foundations on the buildings that are here, so that we can rectify anything that should be rectified. That can be done before we actually lay the new slab. So it works out reasonably well. Any extra work, there is a cost for that, but it's well worth doing that at this point in time.
I think in the same category fits change of the roofs.
Good pick up, Peter. So that's part of the project too. So we have a 70-year-old church building. We have a 60-odd, 55-odd, 56-year-old hall and building, and those roofs are not designed to last longer than that. So part of this project is to replace both of those, and that's all within our cost envelope. So that's and we're very, very, very happy that we're able to do that whole piece of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised when I saw the bathroom facilities, you know, the pieces of the wall or the windows were gone. And
Yes.
I was thinking,
Yes.
they're going as well. This not
yes.
really beautiful building, I would say.
It's a lovely
but
building.
I heard actually, we get some new doors as well. Is this true? As I was thinking,
Yes,
do we have
that's
now these
correct.
outdoor doors in the inside?
Yeah, so we'll have Frank.
Yes, yeah, there'll be new doors to replace what were basically external doors. They'll be replaced with more nicer looking internal doors, and also by fixing up all those louver windows we had at the top with some decent up to date windows. It'll make that
great.
whole toilet block look much more part of the new building. So yes, it should be good.
That means also no flies anymore in it and no sand leaves in the bathroom facilities.
Correct,
How
yeah.
amazing is that?
Exactly. So brings it up to modern standards.
Yes, perfect.
And speaking of standards, we as we know, the site was built, the church and the toilets were built in the early 1960s. The hall was built in the early 70s. There were different building standards there. We've discovered that when we took the windows out, that it needed structural reinforcement because the windows were actually holding up the roof. So all these things we discover when we do the work. and well, that's what building on an existing platform means. You need to be flexible, adaptable, and innovative in the solutions that you come up with. So yeah, Frank and I are learning lots and enjoying the challenge.
From the look, it's also changing. We have a different feeling, especially as you stand here up the front, the church entrance, and you see that the vestry is gone, which makes a really big space. It didn't seem like that before, but now imagining that there will be an entrance,
Yes, yeah, exactly, Peter. It's once that building went, then the amount of light that's there, it just opens up the space, and we can imagine what our new church entrance will look like, with full wall-to-ceiling glass, a higher ceiling, and very excited about the new look we're going to have for our entrance.
As we are giving some building updates, an interesting detail, we were talking about the wood for the beams. For those who are interested to know, we have Australian wood, and it's a question from where it will come from, but definitely local.
But is there not a shortage on Australian timber?
Yes, there is a shortage in this timber, and our builders have gone through. I think they told us last week that there were 6 suppliers that they were approaching for those laminated structured engineering beams, but they will be Australian. They will be a plantation pine. They'll structured laminated beams as part of our design calls for, hopefully the miles the supply miles will be the lowest, which will be even better.
What about other disruptions in our daily or weekly flow? We had until now only one minor right at the beginning when we started these structural changes with pipes and so on. And there, I'm aware of another one coming with the stormwater retention, or which?
Yes, they will be putting in some pipe work, which will be running around the front of the church, in between the small hall. So there will be some disruption there, but the builders are hopeful that this can be done in sort of a week period and not affecting the Sunday service.
Yes, Peter, you mentioned disruptions, and we should be very respectful of Peter and his family, and because they're living on the site, and we're working really, really hard to make sure the disruptions, and we've had two. Peter's being very generous. We've had two disruptions so far, but we'll endeavour to work really hard so that they're minimised or eliminated. That's our plan, Peter.
Yeah, sure. It's exciting. I mean, when you see that things are happening, things are built, the small minor things that might interrupt our routine should actually be something exciting. And I think should be the same feeling for us as a congregation in general. When we come to church services or other activities, as we will continue to do, it's exciting to see the progress on the site, even when it makes other things a little bit harder. But looking forward to the end of it, which is not that far away.
No, it's not.
Demolition is always fast, isn't it? When I think of 2 weeks ago, and to look at now, you know how fast it is. You know, smash down something is fast.
Yep.
It's so much fun smashing things down, yes.
It takes a long time.
But
you know,
the groundwork is something that takes a bit of time, and until you actually get the slab, you can't really see that there's really much building happening. But yeah, all the groundwork is very important, and so that once the slab is poured, everything is in place, and then you start to see reasonably quickly a building appear.
by the way, for the slab, what weather do we need?
It helps if it's drier,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not necessarily, it has to be dry completely. Obviously, when the concrete's poured, there can't be heavy rain, but there's the concretes that we're using today mean that you can have light rain for periods. So we're in the right time of the year. Getting towards July, August would be not so good.
Ah, okay. So it's too cold then.
Well, it's firstly colder, although that's not necessarily a bad thing, but
Okay.
it's wetter, so more moisture. And you know, concrete is made up of sand, cement, and aggregate. So those are the three components, and then you usually have some extra chemicals and water. Those three physical components plus water. So you add more water, and it's different concrete, so different strength.
Okay. How long does it take to dry?
How long is a piece of string? Depends on how thick it is.
How thick is it?
We've got pieces in our slab which are 150 millimetres, and we've got parts of our slab where the foundations are, which are 450 millimetres.
Oh, wow.
So how long it will take? Typically between 1 to 4 weeks, but depends on what parts. And depends on what binding agents are put into the concretes. So we'll see.
Good that we don't have any animals on the place, isn't it? Like a cat or a dog. It would like little pathways on the
Oh,
slab.
that's extra texture.
Yeah, true. Oh, that would be actually lovely, huh? We need to get a cat.
Okay, well, I think unless you've got any other questions, Tim, I think we can probably wrap this up.
If anyone else has any questions,
Please send us an email or give Frank a call or send him an email.
yes.
Or Eric.
or Eric.
We can't put it all onto Frank.
No, Eric is there as well. And please ask them directly. But I have to tell you, it looks amazing. And you can see really there's something going on. So come by, have a look when you're not here regularly. And yeah, enjoy the work which we've done.
Exactly, get the word out. I was speaking yesterday with someone who was mentioning our project, discovered it only through the Gemeindebrief and only since the last edition. So it was a lot of curiosity. We try to do that with our podcast. Perhaps you as listeners get the word out or are curious, excited, and come by and have a look.
Was it the print version or the electronic version of the Gemeindebrief?
It was the electronic version, I think.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
Closing our podcast today, I would like to encourage us with a short passage from the second letter to the Corinthians, where Paul writes, "Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. for our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. I like this encouragement. Even if outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. Paul writes the second letter to the Corinthians and has an interesting experience. On the one hand, he goes through troubles and difficulties and trailing times, but on the other hand, he always feels encouraged and hopeful and always has this feeling in his heart that it happens in God's presence and through his guidance. The excitement, the optimism, the hope and joy in his ministry are not diminished by the situations, oftentimes difficult ones, he is in. But also pain and suffering are there. In all this, he never sees God absent. He understands the world as being one that is separated from him, but one that can grasp, can feel, can experience the presence of God. That is why even in difficult times and dangers, he never loses hope and the joy of life filled with God's love. And for that one, we want to pray, because outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and mandatory troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. Amen.
Thank you so much for being with us today, Frank and Eric.
Pleasure, Tim.
You're welcome.
And next week we have a podcast in German, and the topic is Mother's Day. So we don't have a mother yet to sit with us and have a chat with us. So please come back to us. We need you. We can't do it without you. As Peter not a mother and I'm not a mother, so we need someone to assist us and give us some tips and help, and what Mother's Day is. So thank you so much. And